Oh no. So I told them. I said, "Look, guys, we got 3 Sundays for our Kickstarter. So let's split up." And Tommy emailed me last night. Said he was emailing from his phone. Said that they installed the internet for his neighbors and sliced his internet cable. So he says I've got no internet. Haley never responded to me. Peter is going to be here next week. So
Okay.
That's happened to me in my office before. My neighbor got internet and they disconnected my wire, and I was like, "Oh no!" I had to actually go up there myself and plug it back up. Luckily, I had worked for Comcast, so I figured out. I knew what the problem was.
Did you disconnect his wire?
No. I fixed everything. I fixed it all.
Yeah.
It was,
Hey, are you watching anything right now? No, you're not.
Right. Yeah.
Now you are.
Right.
No, you're not.
Wait for the important show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tommy said that it was out in his yard, and they just sliced the line.
Mm-hmm.
So he said they're gonna fix it. He goes, they're gonna fix it for free, but they're gonna do it for Monday until Monday. He's like, so I got to go all weekend without cable. Without the internet.
Working for them.
He rolled over too easy on them people. It should have been a no, you're not. You're coming out right now and fixing this because I do business on this line.
That's right. Yeah.
They, I remember so many times like the problems that would happen in the field and having to fix things, but I don't recall. I remember the biggest obstacles we would have is that I would go to someone's house and they will have ran their own cable line. And it was generally what would happen was so when they made the switch over from the analog boxes to digital, we had to go do these conversions. So someone wants new digital boxes. Okay, yeah, I'll bring it out to you. We bring it out, and when I would plug it up, I would get an error code. Well, the error code could be anything from ERR001 all the way down to 100. But generally, I knew the first thing to do would be to look for if they had run their own cable. And I would always ask the person, hey, did you run a splitter? And they would lose all color in their face and no. It's like, oh, okay, because I think that's what's happening here. And I go look around the house. Okay, yeah, this right here. Is this yours? No, it's like that when I bought the house. And it's like, the splitter's brand new. Like you said, you lived here for 4 years. And then the people were so afraid. Like it was like, you can split your cable off if you want. It's fine.
Yeah, it's your own cable.
Yeah. And the reason why I had to know is because a lot of times people will go to Radio Shack and they buy the first splitter they could. Mm-hmm. Well, when we switched over to digital, the wiring was different. So that had to change. So if you bought that regular splitter, it wouldn't work when we switched over to digital. Mm-hmm. So if they would have told me that from the start, I could have went and changed it.
Right.
Fine, but no, they always want to lie. Anyway.
Well, I still want to get caught. So.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Everybody's in the house. Thanks for coming in. Make sure you hit that like button over there. We did have 11. Now we only have 9 watching. Hey, come on.
Ooh.
2 people ran off. I bet Joe was one of them. He said morning all. Says here for a few minutes. So
July 18th, 1986. Aliens arrived at theaters.
Wow.
Oh.
Aliens.
Man.
Back in 86. Crazy, isn't it?
86. That was a good year.
Yeah.
86 is the year I went from 86 is the year I started college at Southern Mississippi. I was great. My phone rings this morning.
Hey, Roland, are you on the air?
It's probably my father-in-law. Walgreens is calling me, telling me
prescription's ready.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what it is.
So early in the morning, too.
Thank you, sweetie. She reached in and grabbed the phone. Sorry about that, guys.
Not a problem.
86, I was 4.
Wow.
Everybody knows we're live, and all those little beeps and stuff. It just adds to the transparency of the broadcast.
Yeah,
all good.
But yeah, I 86. I started to. I had gone to 2 years of junior college, and was working at the record store. And I transferred down to Southern Mississippi, which is where I ended up meeting. Within a year, I met Stephen Butler and Mitch Bird, the two guys who would become my collaborators with on Cat and Mouse, and that would be the book that we tried to publish in '87. Thank you, Turtles, and it wouldn't work just because we didn't kind of know how to do it all, and then led to our relationship with ultimately with Malibu Comics.
Cool. Yeah. We should probably introduce ourselves, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. This is another episode of Sunday Funnies for the 18th of July, 2021. I'm your host, Randy Zimmerman. I'm a longtime independent alternative comics publisher, producer, everything. I've done just about everything in the direct market that you can imagine. Retailed for over 10 years, ran conventions for over 10 years, did a lot of stuff. So real happy to be part of the Indie Volt radio network now. And I'm also in the middle of introducing Arrow Comics 4.0 back into the direct market starting in August. We'll have 4 titles available for the direct market to purchase exclusively through Liberty Distributors, ledg.us. Make sure you go over there and check those out. We have some really, really great titles coming up. I can't wait for them to get out of the printer, which should be here in the next about 10 days or so. We might actually have copies. So very excited about that. And also joining me today is the owner, the ruler of Indie Volt, the Indie Volt Empire, Mr. Varian Grant. Varian, introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Varian Grant. I'm a 14-year wounded veteran with PTSD of the comic book industry. I hear paper, I jump on their desk and hide. I'm founder of Indie Volt Media LLC. Started making comics back in 2008. What else? Founder of Liberty Entertainment Distribution Group, getting comic books, indie comic books in stores nationwide. ledg.us for more information. Also, while you're at it, check out indievoltawards.com. It's our award show where we'll be approaching very soon, September 18th, where we're going to be giving out some awards, live event for the best indie comics. And I'm here for a little while today, hanging out with Randy. Haven't been on Sunday Funnies in a while, so when I can poke my head in the car's trouble, I do so.
There you go. Yeah, I sent you a message, Barry. Take a look.
Did you?
Yes. Anyway, right. Also joining us today in a rare early morning appearance, Mr. Roland Mann. Roland, introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm glad you chose today to be here. So I get to chat with you. Yeah, I'm Roland Mann, and as you were getting a little sneak peek earlier, got my start in comics in the late 1980s, thanks to the black and white boom of comics back then, thanks to the Turtles. Went on to work for Malibu, which is where many people know me from. I was an editor for the Protectors line of comics, and then I went on to become an editor of the Ultraverse, edited about half of those titles. And Marvel bought us, and that's how I became a Marvel editor. Excuse me. And then when Marvel went to bankrupt, fired a bunch of people, I was one of them. I started Silverline in the late 1990s, which was the wrong time to start comics, and lost about $20,000 and decided to go back to school and get another degree, start another career. And I did, and I started teaching, and that's what I've been doing since about 2003. But about 10 years ago, I decided that I still loved comics and I missed them. And so started doing it during the nighttime hours. I teach during the day and make comics at night. And I was just doing it for myself because I love comics. I wasn't trying to, relaunch another comic career. Wasn't trying to do any of that. But about 2 years ago, both my wife and some of my collaborators said, you should restart Silverline. And I'm like, I don't think so. That's a lot of work. I just want to make some comics. I don't want to do all. Yeah, but look, it's, print on demand, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but that's a lot of work. I don't know. And long story short, they convinced me to relaunch Silverline, and we have been, for the last year and a half now, we have done a Kickstarter about every other month. So, and we are having, I counted the other day, and I think we've done 17 books in the last 2 years. So, it's kind of exciting.
An understatement.
Yes. Well, that's when people say, "Can you stream at 9 a.m.?" I'm like, "Dadgum, that's early. I don't go to bed until like 2 or 3."
There you go.
trying to make comic books at night.
Yeah, nobody gets into comics because it's easy.
Oh no.
They think it is, but those are the ones that get weeded out quickly.
Yeah.
And then it's like us angry roaches are the ones that are left over.
Angry roaches. There we go.
But I like Randy's new term. He started, I was a thisser, and an everythinger. I'm like, I've never heard that. I like that, an everythinger.
Everythinger.
Yeah.
In this business, heck yeah. They're like, well, did you ever do this? Well, about 20 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, I did that.
Listen, I inked some pages way back in the day. Stephen Butler was my roommate, and he would be inking stuff, and he would just hand something over to me. Here, fill in the background of that. What do you want me to do? He goes, I don't know, just do some cross hatching. I'm like, okay. I have to cross hatch stuff in the background, right?
Hey, look, when you still know what ruby lith is,
right? Yeah,
you know you've been in this industry for a long time.
I won awards using ruby lith and amber lith.
Wow,
I did. Varian's rolling his eyes, going, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, it's like
I did separations for a shirt apparel screen printing.
Oh wow!
With ruby lith and amber lith. Yeah.
That just sounds that just sounds like like ratings you get for using the Lyft app now.
Well, no, actually, it was worse back then because another name for a person who specialized in working with ruby lith was a stripper.
Right.
Oh yeah. We're not here to talk about our porn career.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we are.
Should also note our extra co-host Daphne Leish is
just
joining
running
us.
In at the last minute.
Daphne, introduce yourself to the radio audience.
Sure. It's like, hi everyone. My name is Daphne Leish, and I am a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992 because, like everyone here, I don't know any better. And I am known for my funny animal fantasy adventure Tall Tales, and my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn. And you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales Online, TAILS, and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics on YouTube at Daphne Leish Art. And if you haven't noticed already, the cacophony in the background is because I share my office with 2 parakeets and a parrot. So if you hear any odd noises back here, that's them.
Whenever Daphne's on the air and your smoke detector goes off, it's probably not your smoke detector.
Yes. If all of a sudden a garbage truck sounds like it's in your house, that's not a garbage truck.
I need to keep my books at the ready too. Like we just got done getting the Revolt book out of the printer.
I can't wait to get that. I can't wait to get my copies.
Those are all going out next week. Can't wait.
Yeah, because they look so good in the photos that you sent.
They are pretty. They are pretty. And it's early in the morning for us, but for Marv over in Portugal, it's mid-afternoon, I believe. How you doing, Marv?
Yeah. Hello, Hey. Yes, awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm RV. I'm from Portugal. I'm the writer, creator, and artist of The Sin Killer, now on Indiegogo. I reached today 52%.
Oh,
so
there you go.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. And hope to be able to fulfill the campaign so I can put this behind me and I'm already. I began to take care of the second book. So yeah.
That's how it goes. Yeah, it's like you're not even halfway through. You're only a couple of days in the first campaign, and already your brain is on the second one.
Yeah.
Roland, he's in his first campaign. Roland.
Yeah.
Does that bring up any memories?
That's sweet, right? That's sweet.
At 46. I'm on my first campaign at 46. So yeah.
You always got to step in somewhere. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
This is my 12th one.
Right.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Daphne, how many campaigns have you run?
Gee, we lost count. It's probably like I've helped on like 18 of them. I've done 4 of my own. I mean, it might be, and right now it's like there's another. We just finished another campaign for Oswald, and of course JD is setting up the next one. So.
Yeah,
just like walking in the park, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Walking in the park at night, maybe.
It's like a bowling alley. You just grab the pins and set it up for the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yep. Just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Also joining us today from, shall we say, across the pond, it's Mr. Rich Perrotta.
Hey.
Hello.
Perrotta.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Rich, how are you? We see you're working.
Yeah, I am. I just wanted to I thank you for allowing me to join you. So, I mean, I can listen to all of you guys talk about all this other comic stuff while I do my stuff, job. So thank you for letting me in. And I'm making a page from chapter 2 of the recently fully funded Kickstarter for Incantessi chapter 2. And awesome. This is one of the pages. This is one of the rewards. One of the original pages from chapter 2. And man, I'm actually pretty shocked at it because 7 pages of original art from chapter 2 were back. And
nice.
The last one that was backed was the big double page spread that I had. That was actually going to be for the end of chapter 2, but turns out it's going to be the first pages for chapter 3. So I had 7 pages of art backed, and that's Sweet. Just real for me. Wow. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I think that as more and more books become completely done digitally, there's going to be a greater appreciation for original artwork.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, yeah, it's I mean, I like combining both. I mean, there are times when I'm going to do some pages that are just going to be digital because some of them are just going to require it because some of them are just going to be conversation, but there's going to be other pages where I think that are going to be somewhat important. And even if they're not backed, even if they're not purchased for like Kickstarters or anything, I like them for my personal I like it for my personal collection. I still have a whole bunch of pages that I could have used for a Kickstarter, but I have saved here and they're in like plastic sleeves and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have no problem doing the traditional pages as well as the digital pages. And I'm starting to gear myself towards more traditional pages just for the sake of it, because I mean, digital's nice, but I mean, I'm an old school guy when it comes to this. So and I really do love the feel of traditional art.
Yeah.
To me, it's a lot better.
That's what my good pal Thomas Flormonte, who inked the Silverline team up that we're kickstarting right now. So what he does, he usually says all covers that he does are going to be inked traditionally because people love covers for original art. And then he says then what he usually does is picks out 4 or 5 pages from within the book that he thinks people will be interested in. Obviously, usually the ones with full body shots and action shots and things like that. Mm-hmm. And he'll ink those traditionally, and then ink the rest of the book digitally. So, but and part of his reason is like, look, I had stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of original art from all the comics that he did. He goes, and I carry those around for people. He goes, I ended up giving half of them away for $10, and he goes,
oh no, I couldn't do that.
And he's like, I would just assume ink it digitally. If it's going to be talking heads, and he says Roland, because I was writing them right, and he's like, if it's going to be talking heads, I can't sell it. So he does the same thing. He picks out a 4 or 5 pages from a book and we'll ink those traditionally and do the rest of it digitally.
No, I have pretty much all the pages that I've ever done on all my books, and it's like I
That's
even have like
fantastic.
a special and it's like, and I'm getting to a point where I might have to get a cabinet custom made just to store everything, because we're talking about over like, I mean, it's like over 1,000 pages. Like I've lost count. Right? All I know it's over 1,000 pages, and yeah, you know, yeah, okay, I'm not Jack Kirby or John Byrne or anything who probably has like 20,000 pages under their belt, but still though, I need a special cabinet for mine.
That's cool though.
Yeah,
That's more pages than what I have. What I mean, I had a decent amount of pages myself, but just as this gentleman said before, I mean, there were times when I had to like sell the pages like at a really cheap rate, or I would just take the pages and I'd give them to the writer. I'm like, here, do something with these, because I can't do anything with these.
Well, I can say as a writer, we writers appreciate that when it happens. The original art that I own is at the generosity of the artists that I've worked with. So,
oh yeah.
And I love
it. I have no issue giving free art. I have no issues giving pages of art to some people, because especially kids, because they appreciate it a hell of a lot more than we do. I mean, because we just do these, you know, at will. You know, there's other. I mean, these and any child who wants to get into comics or who loves comics is like, wow, this is like the Shroud of Turin for me, and it's like it's a wonder for all of them. So. Yeah, I have no issue giving it away if it's going to mean something. Absolutely. But I love doing this anyway. I mean, I was an inker for Marvel for like over a decade, so, and then DC for a couple of years, and I do miss traditional art sometimes. So I'm doing this a little bit more than I usually am at this point.
Cool.
Oh yeah, there's some yummy stuff.
The old grind, the callus on the finger.
Exactly.
The permanent ink stain. It's
under your nails.
Under your nails. Always.
Yeah. I don't care. This
always memorable. I still have my callus.
Yeah.
This is what we were all born to do.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
What our passion is all about.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Absolutely. And
go ahead.
No. I was just I was trying to subdue a burp because I had a couple of burgers before, and I just didn't want to have any bad table manners.
Right. So because again, you're in Europe, so it's the afternoon now. So we're just barely having breakfast here.
You're in England. Marv's in Portugal. Roland's in Florida. Daphne's from New York City. New York City.
New York City.
Jesus Christ.
Varian's just north of Detroit, and I'm just barely south of Flint. Huh?
Take him to Detroit.
Yeah, take him to Detroit. No, not that.
Detroit. No.
That's Kentucky Fried Movie. If anybody out there
and the first guy they were gonna torture, they just cut his head off and threw him away. And it's like, no, take him to Detroit. It's like, no, that's worse.
No, they cut the guy's head off. He says, now take him to be tortured.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I'm sorry about that. You're right. Oh, shit.
The other guy goes, I'm not going to tell you anything. And then with a few racist comments about his Asian heritage. And he goes, take him to Detroit. He goes, no, not that. Anything but that. Hilarious.
Oh, man. That is funny. I miss movies like that.
I love that movie for its time. You know, it's just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen that thing in forever.
Yeah, the parody of Game of Death is still holds up real well.
Yeah.
Toy robot. Toy robot. And then it opens up its chest and goes, eat lead, sucker.
It's like, well, we're talking about like 1980 something, I think.
Yeah, 1980 something.
Yes. What was it, 1981 or like 78 or something?
Way I was going to say,
that was late 70s, wasn't it?
I think so.
Might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, those movies were so bad back then. Jesus Christ.
Well, it was a different, it was bad for the era.
Whole different era, whole different context.
All different, yeah. It's all different,
That's back when bad movies were good.
That's when you had like all those
really good.
That is very true.
Those old grindhouse films and just phenomenal, horribly good stuff.
Right.
Kentucky Fried Movie was 1977.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh wow, that's before I thought it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember seeing it at a midnight show.
Well, yeah,
So
you had to.
in my youth.
Right.
That was the era of like the sex comedy, the raunchy sex comedies, like
The real raunchy
Porky's,
sex comedies,
like Porky's and Animal House. And,
still a classic to this day.
Yeah.
I saw Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think probably 70. No, what I saw 80. I guess probably 81.
Right.
And when you mentioned the midnight theater, my friend, he told me, "Hey man, this Friday night we're going to go see a midnight show." I'm like, "Okay, cool." He goes, "This is going to be the weirdest thing you've ever seen in your entire life." He goes, "But it is so much fun."
Oh yeah.
And so we went to. This was in Jackson, Mississippi. So, and I lived, out in the sticks in that area. And so we got in his Gremlin, which he had these two huge stereo speakers, right, in the back of his thing, because he could open the hatch when we go to the park. He'd open his hatch and flip them around, and it'd blast out, right. But when we were in the car, he'd turn them around and blast up the backs of our heads. But yeah, we went into Jackson, Mississippi, and it's the first time I'd ever seen anyone dressed up, right. First cosplay or anything.
Yeah, technically,
like
yeah.
And I'm like,
really where it started.
What is going on with all these freaks? And he's like, "You ain't seen nothing yet, man." And I remember getting in there, and just the opening lines, suddenly they're all yelling back at the screen. I'm like, what are they saying? What, kick the tire. What do you mean kick the tire? It's just like, I've never seen anyone talking back to the screen like that. And I laughed, and and then Meatloaf was on the screen, and I'm like, so we went back for the next several weeks.
Oh yeah. Make your own kit.
Yeah.
Used to take an old Amway. Amway used to sell their stuff in a horrible plastic suitcase type briefcase type thing. We would load that up with rice and water bottle, water gun,
toilet paper.
Toilet paper, and run to the show every weekend.
Theaters. Thinking back on that now, the theaters had to have hated that.
Oh yeah,
not really, because it's like, especially nowadays, because technically Disney owns Rocky Horror Picture Show now. Thanks to the
buyouts and the buyouts.
That's what happens when you have like three companies own all of and a lot of theaters were really worried that Disney was going to pull Rocky Horror from rotation, because Disney was doing that with a lot of other older movies, where it's like, well, you can't have, if you want this movie, then you have to show this movie.
Yeah, and it'll be tossed in the vault.
So it was kind of like, that's why, three companies owning all of media is not really what could possibly go wrong?
They were just worried that too many people would point out that Dr. Frankenfurter is now a Disney princess.
Yeah, well, they did actually.
Oh my word!
Just like the Alien Queen.
Yeah, Alien Queen.
That's right. The Alien Queen is the Disney princess. Yeah, she's so pretty. Oh my god.
Yeah,
she's what a
classic film. Yeah.
And Disney owns 80% of the movies that come out every year.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's something that sounds like it should be illegal. Honestly.
No, it should be technically it should be illegal, but
it's like
it just falls short of any monopoly laws.
Yeah, just like only 9 companies own all the food. All the food available to us. Only 9 companies. I mean, it's like
Have you ever seen? I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you, Daphne. Have you ever seen the documentary? What's it called? The history? No, that's not that.
Don't say history of the world.
No, because it's like I could.
Yeah, actually, I just watched that one a couple of weeks ago with my
Inquisition.
son. Look out! No, I think it's called the future of food. The history of food.
I think I know which documentary you're talking about.
Yeah, the one that basically talks about Monsanto.
Yeah, they changed, and the fact that they had to change their name, by the way.
Yeah,
Monsanto.
That's a scary. Yeah.
I think it's Rotten, the name of the documentary that you're talking about.
No,
that's another one. Yeah, that's another one. There's a whole bunch of them. Pretty much the moral of the story is that, so few companies should not be controlling our food supply.
When you're talking about the number of companies, and I'm not sure I'm getting it right. I'm going to try to find the title. But in this, they were talking about, because it's a documentary, and in this was talking about how Monsanto was kind of responsible for the U.S. government changing food copyright and trademark laws in such now. So at one point in time, you could not own copyright on food, right?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's food. And they're like, hey, we spent millions of dollars trying to improve the DNA, and we want to own this. And so they're okay. It's called The Future of Food. That's
the real issue about GMO foods, by the way. Not the fact that, causes babies to be born with 3 heads and shit. It's actually the copyright and trademark of food. Yes. But, however, let's bring this back to comics, and it's how two comic book companies should not be the standard for all of comic book for all of the comic book industry.
Unfortunately, I think we're learning that lesson.
Yeah.
Well,
and we should have learned it 30 years ago. The what?
It doesn't seem like that they really are anymore. I mean,
no, they're not.
Kickstarter is actually the 3rd largest comic book publisher on the planet, I think, at this point. So
I would be very hesitant to call Kickstarter a publisher.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that would also
you could call them like the 3rd highest earning entity, if you will, not so much company, but entity.
Yeah, that would also depend on if you believe Scholastic's numbers or not.
Yeah.
Well, what are Scholastic's numbers? I'm unfamiliar with what Scholastic does as far as publishing any type of comics or any young adult stuff.
Yeah, Scholastic over here, they print a wide range of YA books, young adult graphic novels, that they circulate through the grocery stores and bookstores that they claim are selling a tremendous amount.
Oh.
They do Dog Man. They do Raina if I hadn't taught cartooning in elementary and junior high school, I would never know who Dog Man was.
Right.
And
or Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Captain Underpants. All of which Captain Underpants technically isn't a graphic novel in my mind, because it's got more prose than
it's more. I think Dogman, because Underpants and Dogman are from the same guy, and I think Dogman is the actual comic, and Underpants is his illustrated story type.
Is it the same guy?
I think so.
I know he does another book with a super powered cat.
Right. Well, because
he just started kicking
them out.
Oh yeah. But the whole idea behind Dogman is that it looks like an elementary school kid's comic book.
Well, right. Yeah.
And so he probably kicks through 15, 20 pages a day.
Yeah, probably. Who knows? If he doesn't have a crew of people doing that already.
Yeah, well, he probably does. Well, it all depends on how they're paying him. We don't know, because we can't be sure of those numbers.
Well,
we know that it's hit the New York Times bestseller list, but the New York Times bestseller list,
it depends.
Is all on books ordered to the bookstores, not books ordered. It's like modern comic numbers. The modern comic numbers are comics sold to retailers, not sold to readers.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Those two numbers are completely different.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about the comic sales, and of course, John Jackson's as a friend of mine. Those numbers through Comic-Con, those are all only comics that go through Diamond distribution, right? Yeah. So we don't get you talking about Kickstarter being a big platform. We don't get any of those numbers. They're not calculated into that, right? So it's only what has gone through Diamond,
right?
And Diamond's not the only distributor anymore.
Nope.
Yeah. So and you would think that with all the barcodes and whatnot, that we could get those numbers, those sell-through numbers, but no, they don't want to release those at all.
No.
Well, I think there's a reason for that.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is too, some comic shops, you've been around long enough. There's some comic shops, they just don't want to play with others.
Yeah, that's true.
They're like, no, those are my numbers. You can't have those.
Yeah.
We're not gonna tell you what we sell,
right?
Yeah, how much we sell.
Yeah, because I think only if you're you're NASDAQ traded are you required to release those numbers.
Yeah.
So
I guess I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot just listening to all you guys. Thank
Well,
you.
really, once the direct market started up in the 80s, we lost track of actual real sell-through numbers.
Really?
Because the comic companies used to have to report those openly, and they used to print them inside the comics, their actual sell-through numbers. If you knew how to read that form, you could see exactly how well a book was or wasn't selling. But once the direct market opened up, then all of the sales went non-returnable directly to retailers. So it's everybody's best guess at best. Yeah.
And that's why there's such a, I don't know if it's like really an open hatred, but of like things like variant covers and all that, because that's how Marvel and DC uses those covers to manipulate their numbers. You know, because it's like, oh, okay, well, we have this chromium cover, but you have to order 50 of our issues to get this chromium cover.
Really?
You know, but are you sell? Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that a retailer has to decide whether getting that chromium cover is going to be financially worth it for him to order 50 of a comic that he kind of suspects is not going to sell.
Right.
Yeah, usually it's a little bit more obtainable, around 10 to 25 copies. You buy 25 copies, you get one copy of the variant. But a lot of the retailers would order those 25s knowing that they would break even on that variant because they had a customer that was looking for that artist or that was picking up one of every one.
And will pay premium for it.
Right. But that just helps the dollar boxes. So
But the thing is, though, after a while, though, but the thing is, though, after a while, though, that's a lot of stuff in dollar boxes. I mean, it's like it's like we have
you looked at the dollar boxes?
Have you gone to conventions lately?
Well, no, actually, I haven't.
No, probably not. But, I mean, before the bug hit,
not true. I just saw you.
Crazy.
But it's like, it just like our local comic book shop. Well, we have two of them now, and one of them is like so tiny that it's like that they want to put the dollar boxes out, but they only have like so much. Like they only put like 3 or 4 boxes out, and then we have a larger one. They have an entire basement dedicated to dollar boxes, but that's just a fraction of what they have. And it's like, and that's not even the new stuff that they're trying to dump out. It's like, this is, so it's like, the amount of space that pretty much that Marvel forces you to have if you really want to get into the variant cover game, because it's like, oh, I have 25 of this, 25. Look, I it's like, we even with print on demand, it's like sometimes, like I just recently, I'm still currently fulfilling my Kickstarter for Ego Raven. I just have the sketch covers to finish and send out. But it's like when I place that order, I'm like going, oh, so get 5 here, 5 there. It's like, oh, I really like this cover. Let me get 10 of extra of those so I have them. And it's like, look, just those 5 add up. And now it's like I have to buy boxes just to store all the extras, and now I'm already thinking for the next campaign. It's like, ooh, I gotta pull that back. It's like I gotta just like, maybe instead of 5, maybe just get 2 extra for myself or something, because that adds up really quickly. So imagine if you're buying, you have to buy 15 of each of 30 titles. Every month, and that's just from one company. So it's like,
that's always been the hassle of anybody who exists in the green section and Diamond and depends upon Diamond for their primary sales, is because all the retailers will go through Marvel and DC first, then all the exclusives, and then if they have anything left over in their budget, then they'll tap the green section, and then they'll start at the start of the green section after they've covered their major secondary companies, and then start working their way through. That's why Gary Reed told me early on that if you were ever to start a company, make sure your company starts with an A, B, or C, because about the time you get to the D's, the retailers are out of money. And so if your company has a D or later as a first initial, you're pretty much getting the bottom basement.
You could have the most brilliant work. You could have the most brilliant work, but if you're too far in the green section, you are being bypassed.
Not being seen. Yep.
Yeah.
You're just not being seen.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is,
Silverline may need a rebranding then.
Well, no, Silverline does crowdfunding. So
there you go. Yeah, because that was the thing too. Because it's like, for as much as people hate variant covers coming out of Marvel and DC because of the hoops they make you jump through. What's funny is that on crowdfunding, well, on Kickstarter especially, variant covers are really popular.
They really are.
Because I guess it's because it's like you don't have to order X amount. You don't have to jump through hoops. You want a variant cover, you could just buy it.
Yeah.
That also, they've been, the comic buying audience has been trained to go for the variant cover because of the last couple of decades of Marvel and DC constantly pushing that out to the retailer, going, if you buy 25 of this thing, you can get one of this. So, hey, that makes the variant rarer.
Right.
So when you offer a variant on your Kickstarter, it's folks tend to gravitate towards it.
Also now it's like, especially like in the past year or so, there's this return to slabbing and collecting key issues and special issues, and so it's like, so everyone's looking for that too. But at least crowdfunding makes it easier to find stuff. If I go to like Brian Polito's campaign or something, he's the king of variants. You have your choice of whichever ones you want. You don't have to. There's no hoops. You just buy it.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with a retailer. You don't have to have listen to the retailer say, "Oh, I got to buy 25 of that book for I can get one for you." So if you're going to buy it, that's at least going to be $50.
Right.
Yeah.
Although my favorite are the retailers who do complain about crowdfunders because, these are books that should be coming through my store, and it's like, bitch, you never ordered us. You never cared about us before. Now that we're making our own money on Kickstarter without you, now you want us in your store.
And now that your money is extra tight because of the situation and the quality of these books that are coming out that Diamond is offering. But that's part of the reason why crowdfunding has picked up the way that it has, is because there's some really big quality books out there that people are suddenly discovering or rediscovering that they didn't see before, thanks to their retailer worried about catching the big mainstream variant and having to order 25 of something, and they didn't have time to order that independent book, no matter how good it looked.
Exactly.
That's something I learned when I was doing Aero Comics the last time, is the retailers would put us up, would only order us for their pull list. As I first started out doing books that you could put on your shelf that people would easily recognize, Dark Oz, Wonderland, War of the Worlds, based on real classic stuff, until I realized that the retailers weren't, for one, they weren't getting everything they were ordering from us to start with, thanks to Diamond and their constrictions. But for two, they really weren't putting us on the shelf. They were only ordering us for their pull lists. So then we started offering really at the best quality that we could in different genres. Like, it did a barbarian book, it was doing manga books, was did a giant, almost a Dragon Ball Z type book. Did a lot of different books to see what would sell. So and the only way we really got any attention is if we got some media off of one of the titles that we were doing.
And even then it wasn't enough for Diamond to like really go, okay, whatever.
They still wanted us to dry up and blow away, and still gave us problems every time we turned around. Every new hoop, new restriction was their way of laughing at us. So but again, that made
kind of power anymore.
Pardon?
I'm sorry. Do they have that? Does Diamond have that kind of power anymore? Because I do remember.
We're gonna find out in a month.
They're trying to keep it now, but they're having to be forced because they've lost the primary Marvel and DC account. They still carry Marvels, from what I understand, but their discount schedule on it is a lot different. The retailers could order direct and get it a little cheaper if they don't mind dealing with another distributor, which is they've been trained to hate since the direct market started and Diamond became the exclusive distributor. But that's why Liberty is out there. Varian started up Liberty Distribution in order to try to help break that, because he went through and looked for a number of years on how to do a distribution system better. And the way that he does it is the books are in house. When he goes to offer them to the retailer, there's no risk, there's no budget problem with the retailer going, is that book going to come in this month, or is it going to come in 2 months from now? Because the publisher can't quite get their act together fast enough, and they're ordering from Diamond already 3 months in advance, so they're having to guess how things are going to look for them the following season. Before they even get those books in, they're having to judge their budget. But with Liberty, you can just order a book and have it come in. You order it on a Monday, it's there by Friday, ready to go up on your shelf or in your pull list or whoever to make. That's like printing money.
I mean, that has got to be the craziest thing. Like if you weren't familiar with how a comic book shop worked, but you saw all these movies and it's like, oh, here's a comic book shop. Let me go in and see something. Mm-hmm. And then you realize, like, what do you mean I have to wait 3 months?
Yeah.
It's like, what is that? It's like, it's like no other retail establishment works that way. You go to a Barnes and Noble, a book is there now. Or they can get it to you, or if it's not there, they can get it to you within the week, or send it straight to your house. I mean, it's like there's everything else has this immediacy except for comic books.
But that's part of the fun of being in the industry, though, in the business, is finding or talking to somebody who's not aware of how the business works and try to explain to them how the business works and getting that blank look on their face, like that doesn't make any sense. That's not normal business. It's like trying to explain curling to somebody who's never seen curling before.
Right, exactly. Wait, there's a broom on ice and a thing that slides. What is that?
That's why I used to love trying to explain to people. One of my favorite old DC properties was the Atomic Knights.
Right.
And it's like, well, you're in the world after the apocalypse, and there's these guys running around in suits of armor that are radiation protected, riding incredibly large mutated Dalmatians. And you see that expression on their face. What? Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what it is, and it's awesome.
Oh my goodness.
But at the same time too, it's like that kind of is the point of comics, isn't it? To be as bombastic and ridiculous as possible because you can.
Not the business side, though.
Well, not the business side. Yeah, because
that's
yesterday,
not how that's supposed to work.
Because yesterday it's like, I caught a snippet of backer shots.
Uh-huh.
And they had Octopus Cowboy.
Yes, I've already backed that book. That's incredible.
And it's like it's about an octopus who's a cowboy. And as far as I could tell, it's kind of like what I love about the Muppet Show. It's like nobody asks why the board of directors has a bear as a secretary. Nobody asks that. So as far as I could tell, nobody talks about why the cowboy is an octopus. It just happens. So
have you seen that book, Roland?
I have not.
No. You have to look at it.
It's incredibly well drawn too. It's an amazing.
And what's funny is that Meredith asked the artist, I forgot who the artist is. It's like, why did you choose an octopus? Why an octopus? And he goes, why not? Response. And he goes, why not? And he goes, you know what? You're right. It's comics. You can do whatever you want. You should be able to do what you want. Stop limiting yourself to Netflix budgets.
Oh my God.
Oh, tell me about that. Oh, man.
Yeah. Really? I mean, so it's like, so you know what? It's like, that's probably out of the entire comic book industry story, that's probably the most normal thing.
It's just called Octopus Cowboy?
Yes, Octopus Cowboy. I'm trying to call it up now.
Yeah, it's like knights with radioactive armor, protected armor, riding Dalmatians. Like, yeah, sure, why not? It's comics.
And it's beautiful.
It's funny because Randy, I know you remember the days when we used to have multiple. It didn't come up on my real quick search here. But we used to have multiple distribution companies.
Oh yeah.
I can remember when I first got in, I was either like 11 or 13. Cat and Mouse got orders.
I remember 15. I remember
at one time there was, according to Stuart Kerr, we had him on back in last October, I believe, with Ralph Griffith. He said that there was 27 at one point. He counted.
Wow.
Yeah. And now
27 different distributors.
Yeah. Now retailers are whining that they have to deal with 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That all of a sudden they have to deal with more than one.
Yeah. No. Really. That's really,
Is it Indiegogo or Kickstarter?
I think I could have sworn it was
right now.
I could have sworn it was Kickstarter.
I think so.
I'm not seeing something on.
It is on Indiegogo.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So there we go. That's why. Okay. So there
Octopus Cowboy #1.
Mm-hmm.
Let me swap this over for you. Oh no, don't say that. It's an awesome book.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'm reveling in it. I'm like, good Christ.
There are so many books out there now that you never see.
I mean, look at that. Look at that.
Look at that
just
artwork.
completely
that's-
normal. Of
that's
course the
what does
octopus
look
is
really
a cowboy.
Look at that. That's pretty.
Yeah.
That book
Wait,
is
one
pretty.
second, one
Beautiful,
second.
yeah.
Good gravy. Wow.
This is comics.
Look at that. Just
this
amazing.
is what it means. Just letting your imagination go buck wild.
Only humans show mercy.
Yeah, it's like, you know, and it's like, yeah, it's just completely unfettered ridiculousness, you know, because why not? Like that was his answer, because why not?
This is part of what comics are all about. Though, is being able to take that imagination and stretch it as far as possible.
And the story is just.
Go ahead.
The story is just beautiful too. The story is just beautiful too, and the interaction between the animals and the human factor. This guy is being an asshole, and it's beautiful.
From Free Focus, Octopus Cowboy over on Indiegogo. Just look at that cover. That's
just
awesome.
look at that. That is so really.
Good God, I give up.
Jason Erfalis. Jason
Orphalus, I think, or Orphalus, depending. I don't know.
He's been on the show a couple times. He's really, really good. He's a great guest too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very funny.
Yeah.
Look
You
at
know,
that.
but
It's just like, an excellently professional product.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but the whole thing, because it's like nothing drives me crazy than this whole like realism, you know, trend, and it's kind of like a weird sort of realism too, where it's like everything. Yeah, you see, look at that, like they want everything like just all in grays and devoid of joy, and just like you know, like they're
all creativity and imagination sucked out of it. Yeah,
right, exactly.
That is a great bottom panel, pure Western right there.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, and this is and this is what, and the funny thing is that aside from the octopus, this could be just a standard Western, but there's an octopus.
Yeah,
it's like it's brilliant. Yeah,
that really is just nuts.
Somebody's going to end up making this into a movie. There's just no doubt. It's
so,
and they're going to suck all the charm out of it.
Yeah, well, probably. But let's hope not.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan Reynolds is probably going to be the voice of the octopus because he's
that's if the octopus speaks at all. It's a snapshot of the entire book so far, presented at low resolution to avoid spoilers.
Oh.
Wow.
So just about everything is done on the book. Yeah.
You can see the blank pages and the blue lines. Oh, that's interesting to do. That's interesting to do as a.
Oh wow, that's actually a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big book too.
Yeah, it's going to be a real thick book.
Yeah.
I did shots like that in my video, but I didn't think about putting the actual images on the Kickstarter page.
Stephanie too.
Yeah, because I usually just put in like the first 6 pages just to give people, you know, an idea. You know, but it's like, but then again, also I'm the type that likes to have the entire thing done before I do a crowdfunder. So, you know, so I don't, you know, but the thing is, though, this is a good way to update people too, especially as the campaign goes along. So those boxes get filled up.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a brilliant idea. I'm swiping that. Sorry.
Right, yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry. Swiping.
Right.
Jason's a great person. I'm sure he's not going to mind.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we do shows like this too, is to point out the great stuff from other people's campaigns so that people can swipe it.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly. Yeah, it's exactly what you do. It's borrowing.
Very indeed.
I'm borrowing.
Just take it.
I'm borrowing and not giving it back like a lawnmower.
Yeah, what great covers! Just phenomenal. I want that cover right there. That's great.
So Rich, so you have a current campaign. So you have a current campaign going right now, right?
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, you're literally working on the book as you have the campaign going, right? Like this is the book that's part of the campaign, right?
Yeah. That's a product that's a part. That's part me not making the best decision for myself
Oh,
personally.
okay. Right.
Because I was sort of amazed that the goal. I was amazed that I reached the goal for the first issue, and then when I did more than double that, which it was a very modest goal. It was 1,100 British pounds. So it's like I was shocked that I got to 25, like the 2,600, and quite a few people, like about more than half of the people who backed this campaign were like, "Well, when's the next issue coming out?" And I'm like, "Soon." Yeah, and then I didn't realize how much work it was gonna entail.
Oh yeah.
Like my eyes got a little bit too big for my stomach. I mean, all the line work is done, and I have all of 17 pages. I have 17 pages left. I have the color, and then I have to like letter the whole thing, and then it has to be proofread to make sure that everything's okay.
Yeah.
But it was because I wanted to get the next issue out. I wanted to establish some sort of continuity, but I'm realizing that my health is a little bit more important than the continuity of the comic.
Well, true.
Yeah.
So for the next 2 chapters of this segment of stuff for our beloved hero over here, the next one most likely is going to come out in January, and then the next one is going to come out afterwards in April, because I already have a bunch of pages done for issue 3.
Right.
And I'm going to make sure that I have a good schedule going through so I can release those next 2 chapters. But yeah, I'll never do this again, because this
I was about to ask.
Me, God, that this hurt. It actually physically hurt. There are times when I don't sleep, and that's not good.
Because
it's the
pressure. Because it's the pressure of trying to finish the book before the campaign ends, or trying to like keep up with the campaign.
It's a combination of both, because I hurt myself when I decided to add the prologue and the epilogue. I'm well capable of finishing a 48-page graphic novel with all the trimmings with it within a 3-month span. If I had no other choice, I can do it. But I added the extra 12 pages. I'm sorry, I added the extra 10 pages, and then I added a bunch of other things to go along with it. And my hands just got a little bit too big for my stomach. That's what it was. So it's just, I am never going to do that again. And I mean, thankfully, the quality of the pages hasn't deteriorated.
Right, because that's a risk too. Yeah, that's a risk.
Well, it's a huge risk. But I've made sure that I spent extra time, whatever time I could, on the line art, and it has I think the quality of the pages for issue 2 is better than issue 1, but I do need sleep. And I'm never gonna go around that level ever again. Just for the sake of it, because sleep is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Rich, where is your campaign?
I as of Friday afternoon, it was fully funded, and right now I am at 2,000. Where am I now?
Send the link so Randy can put it on.
Yeah, I meant where, on Indiegogo or Kickstarter?
Oh, Kickstarter. Just go for Incesty Chapter 2. That's all you got to do. Just click on that, and then you'll see it.
I must be spelling it wrong then.
INCANTESI. That's it.
I'm using a double S here.
It's okay. Just one S. That's all you need.
See, there it is. Oh.
Yeah, it's 2,722 British pounds, which comes out to about, well, what is it American? Like 36? 37?
We'd have to get the converters out.
So you're seeing it in pounds also.
3,746.
Wow, not bad.
I
want to get to 3,000.
Yeah.
And I want to go past that, because I did a couple of other things for like stretch goals, and I'm just blown away. I'm very pleased. I'm very happy about it.
We have that on the screen now.
Yeah, that's some fun stuff. Yeah.
Give us the elevator pitch.
Oh, okay. For chapter 2, Cassandra, Amelia, and everybody who was in the hospital, they narrowly escaped the clutches of the Wrath, and now they're trying to figure out what to do next, because now the Wrath knows that Cassandra exists and now is ascending to full power. And with the things that Cassandra is going to learn within this issue, as well as the infighting between the 3 girls who were initially going to try and kill her, but now one of them wants to save her. It goes right to the tagline, The Secrets of the One, which is her aunt, who is her guardian as well, will beget the avarice of the other, which obviously is going to be Cassandra. And this is going to build for issue 3, which is going to be a huge, huge impact on what's going to happen with her. And then chapter 4, I'm going to subvert a little bit of expectations when it comes to the hero's journey. Trust me. And I'm very excited about it. And that page you're looking at right now is the page that I'm inking. And that's one of the pages that was backed. That's one of 7. I mean, if you look through all of them, all but 2 pages, if you go, let me see. If you go, there's a small chart right over there. The double page spread has been backed.
Okay.
So
you only have 2 pages left.
So originally these pages were inked digitally, and then when they get backed, you ink them physically, I guess. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I'm double dipping on these things, but I don't really care all that much because it's fun. It keeps my hand loose when it comes to the inking, and I have a lot of fun with this stuff anyway. So yeah, what you're seeing right now is just a whole bunch of the interior pages of chapter 2, and the quality of these pages are better than the first one, and I really like what I've done for this one. I'm proud of it, but again, I am never gonna do. The only way that I would ever consider doing anything like that is if the issues are 40 pages max, because I do need to sleep.
Right. Yeah.
And how long is this book?
Oh, this will originally I was just going to do 4 chapters, but I started thinking of other stories and what I can do with this. And given the popularity of this one, I was going to judge how I was going to feel about continuing this after chapter 4, and this campaign is the template. If we reach 3,500 in 3,500 British pounds or anything close to it, then I know that I can build on this, and I know that I have something. So yeah, this is going to go beyond 8 chapters easily, if not 12, not more, depending on what I do. If I make it a bi-monthly, I can do a 32-page jam. That won't be a thing for me.
You're at 2,700 pounds now.
Right.
2,722.
2,722, exactly. Yeah, and it's
7 days to go.
The only thing I have to worry, the only thing that I want to exceed is the amount of backers, because right now I have 74 backers, and for the first campaign, I had 81 backers. I want to get to 100 backers easily, if that's at all possible. I don't know if I can, because there's only 7 days left. Well, it's like 6 days and a few hours, but I'm just happy about.
You'd be surprised at what happens in the last 24 hours.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You'd be surprised. Yeah,
especially if you keep promoting it, it'll get it. A lot of these books right now, all they need is the attention.
Yeah.
And you need to get it out in front of as many noses as possible. I'm sure Roland's having that same situation pop up, right?
Yep.
It just all it does is take eyes on the book to get somebody awareness.
Yeah,
because the quality sells itself.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that I am doing, is I go live every single day, and as a matter of fact, I'm taking the channel that I have, and I'm going to start having people guest. Start having other creators guest, and if they decide to draw something or whatever the guest decides to do, I'm going to be drawing something no matter what it is, and I'm going to continuously ask them questions about what their property is, how they came about doing it, and it's like, as a matter of fact, I just announced it earlier today that I'm going to have Krista on my show tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'm going to have Krista on my show tomorrow, and I'm going to do some fan art of her character Chastity from Lore.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Cool.
That's going to be fun.
Nice.
And that's also, is that also going to appear in her trade paperback? In her book Lore?
I believe so. Yeah,
probably will. Yeah, she's still got time.
It will. So it's like, I'm cross promoting. I want to cross promote her as well, and I want. I mean, just like you guys are, and just like Pops has. I mean, you're giving me a little bit of airtime to show what I have.
Right.
At the very least, I want to do the same thing. So it also gets me to know other creators as well, and I really like that interaction between the two, between everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and also it gives you that level of accountability too, because it's like you're working. Yeah, it forces you to like, I got to go live because I got to go work.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's the best thing.
That's a good thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
That helped. That actually helped me because it's like because you see the most monotonous part of doing anything like I do here is the coloring. Because I mean I'm a decent colorist, but it's not something that I like endeavor to do on a daily basis.
Right.
And when I do some coloring on the pages, the going live and drawing like sequential pages for like the future issue, it's a lovely break, and it also gives everybody a preview of what's to come.
Right.
So it's like three birds with one stone. You know, just making sure you get out there as much as possible.
Yeah, because that's really because it's like because look, in the end, it's like people like us, we cannot promote enough. We're not billion-dollar conglomerates with millions of dollars at our disposal. Right. It's like we're literally like we just got to keep, just keeping ourselves out there, or else we get forgotten in the noise of the internet. Yeah.
Oh, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna start doing some more promoting tomorrow because today's just like a dead day, and it's already late in the afternoon for me anyway. I feel like I haven't slept yet, really, and I'm like rather tired. But I saw that you guys were here, and I wanted to join you for.
Yeah. But comics are easy, right? Comics are easy.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's the easiest thing. My God, do you know how many? I've already had like 3 or 4 people not even ask me directly, like ask me indirectly through like a girlfriend. And like I had a friend, Heather, who was interested in this guy who couldn't draw to save his life, but he wanted to work at Marvel. So he asked her to ask me, and she's like, Can you tell my boyfriend Sean how to get into Marvel Comics? And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, why not? And I go, because it took me years to figure out how to do all that I'm doing.
Right. Yeah. And how you got in is not going to be what he needs to get in, especially if he doesn't draw. And it's like, well, maybe they have an opening in accounting. I mean, technically that's how Peter David got his start. So you can't discount it, really.
Well, there's that, but it's also it's like it goes to like the generation at this point, because to me it's like it doesn't take it. I mean, for a lot of people these days, it's like they don't want to have to wait, and they feel like that there are some they feel like that they deserve this type of shot because of just who they are, and it's like. Well, the answer is a really big fat no, because it all of us here, it took us years to get to where the hell we were, and some of us,
it takes us years to go from absolute nobody to nobody.
There.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, and then someone out of nowhere who doesn't even know me is like, hey, can you help me get to Marvel? And I'm like, F no, because who are you have no discipline. Yeah, exactly. And, this person was just an idiot, and he was just stupid as all hell. And when my friend continuously protested, why couldn't you help my friend? And I'm like, well, you're not my friend anymore either, so you got to go. And that's something that I hate more than anything. It's like when you're friends with someone just for the sake of like who that person is. I've had too many of that. That's another thing I hate. When it's like not only is it considered easy, but it's also like, hey, because you can do this, you can get me into all the events. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. And I'm not going
to. You can help me bypass everything. Yeah, you can help me bypass everything you had to do to get to where you are. So I can put my footprints on your back.
Oh, that's the best. And then when they get pissed about it.
Yeah.
When they get pissed about it, and then they decide to throw some sort of like social justice crap. And it's like, you're trying to oppress me. How dare you? What is it? Because I'm this? And I'm like, no, because you suck.
Right.
That could be the reason why.
Well, I don't mean to change the conversation, but I think it's time to change the conversation.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Here we go.
We're looking at Silverline double feature, right?
That's right.
There it is.
Yep.
Tell us about that, Roland.
Yeah, we started. It's a double feature. We started doing flip books several months ago. For the pure reason that we had too many comics, and we started thinking, if we start kickstarting these now, we're gonna be kickstarting one a month for the next 2 years. So we decided to double them up, and offer what an old fashioned flip book. So the first one there is Bear. And I'm gonna give you the elevator pitch on that one. So when the kid goes missing from the playroom, most of the inhabitants think he's dead, except for Bea, a stuffed bear. And Bear tells everyone the kid's coming back to get them and take them to the big house because he's working on a new room for them. They don't believe him, and all chaos erupts.
Wow. So it's like, so the toy, that's kind of morbid. The toy said, oh, he dead.
Yes, right.
Dead.
Well, in fact, the terminology they use in there is that he's been thrown away, right? What do you do with an old toy? You throw it away, right? So they actually say he's been thrown away. And then the Silverline team up, the flip book is the elevator pitch is the champion's personal life is totally shot. And while he continually puts his life at risk as a firefighter, he seems to only grow stronger. His doctor pal invites him to go to New Orleans with him, where he is found by Miss Fury. Miss Fury is, of course, based off the public domain character from the 1940s, Miss Fury, and all the troubles that he had in Chicago follow him to New Orleans. Cool. So for fans of for longtime fans of Cat and Mouse, they may recognize Champion is the guy who appeared in issue 3 of Cat and Mouse back in about 1989. You do not have to be familiar with that his appearances there, but it is the same guy, and he's finally getting his own story.
Just like you don't have to be familiar with Miss Fury either.
Correct. No, you do not. This is obviously, this is not the original Miss Fury, but Miss Fury is in public domain. So yeah, what Daphne was talking about variant covers earlier. So yeah, we found that when we first started doing them, we didn't do it, but people were asking us for variant covers.
Uh-huh.
Now, of course, hold on. Yeah. I just have to ask, Bea, what accent is this? Is he from like Boston?
So,
Bea?
So I'm
Bea.
from Mississippi. All right. So did you ever see Smokey and the Bandit?
Yes, absolutely.
So, you know the old sheriff, Jackie Gleason, right?
Yeah.
I hear it as Bea. I'm gonna get me a Bea. Right? We're gonna go Bea hunting, right?
There we go. That'll do it. That'll do it. Now, thank you. Now I have the whole thing in my head.
Yeah. And it's funny, Haley, who was the artist on that, she had the worst problem saying it. And I said, just say Bear. It's all good. But yeah, so variant covers, we kind of got in the habit of offering 2. And we'll have a retro cover as well, which is retro we usually use, as you can see. It's usually the same art. We just fix it up like I used to do. That if you were to look at the comics that I published in the 90s, they were built like that. Right. And so we do that. And of course the retros are all black and white on the inside. And we've got I love that the Kickstarter has the add-ons now.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love those. So you can get commissions from Tommy. As you can see, he does his specific style there. He calls it his Kid Hero style. So you got commissions that you can get from him. You can get commissions from Peter Clinton. We're getting ready to add commissions from Haley, who was the artist on Bear. We've got some original art that's available. Dean Zachary has done the Kickstarter covers. You can see those are roughs. He just sent me the final pencils for Bear this morning. And of course, the other cover by Aaron Humphreys. I'm trying to talk about as you scroll, right? And then there are interior pencils by Peter Clinton. They're just gorgeous. That's when the page there on the left is when Miss Fury first enters into the scene as Marley Hale. She's looking for work in New Orleans. So
I'm almost getting a Mike Grell vibe from that.
Yeah,
especially from the champion page here on the right.
Oh yeah. It's funny because in the letters you see those panels that are slanted. Try to letter that when you put balloons up on the very top.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks great, but the letters look a bit wonky. You can't have them go with the slant.
No.
It's like kind of having like a warped roof line.
Yes.
Like none of your pictures on the wall look straight.
Right. Yeah.
But I usually use in cases like that. I usually use the lettering as a guide for the eye to
Yeah,
to get you
definitely.
moving.
Definitely, yeah.
Because a lot of times Neil Adams did that a lot with Dead Man. That he had these crazy panel layouts that were amazing, but if you didn't have that lettering there to guide your eye, you're totally lost.
Yeah,
I love that
You
last
go all over
panel
the
there on
place.
page 20. The big blam.
Right here on the bottom.
Yes. Yeah. I love it when the artist will work in a sound effect into the art like that.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It took me a second to see it there, but it's there.
Yeah.
Let me
Oh my goodness,
blow that up.
that looks incredible.
Yeah. Oh,
wow. That looks great. Holy
it's
shit.
beautiful.
That looks good, man. That looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this I'm telling you, there's some final pages at the bottom. It's a gorgeous book. That's a fantastic panel right there. It's funny because Peter and I both are fans of old Spider-Man, and this scene was actually inspired from a pretty classic Spider-Man tale where he grabs a water tower.
Yeah.
And those are the inks. These are inked pages. This is what I was talking about earlier. Tommy picked out a handful of pages, and these are the traditionally inked pages. So that's a double page spread that's available as an add-on. Obviously, only one of them. Right. And then page 16. I don't know. People tell me that my writing has a 90s vibe, and I'm not sure I get
well,
that.
That panel is definitely a 90s vibe.
Right,
For sure.
I was going to say, good Lord, that character has a lot of pouches.
Yeah.
That's part of the story. But yeah,
I can't even carry a mini backpack without forgetting what's in it. So it's like I can only imagine. It's like, wait, what's in this?
Right?
One?
Yeah. Page 17 there on your right is the Miss Fury's first appearance in costume in the comic. So, which in that middle panel, the way Roberta colored it is just, I keep looking at it. I'm like, man, I'm going to make this one because she colored the figure there, and then the background is colored, but it's kind of fuzzy, so that it really pops the character. So
sweet,
really, I don't know the artistic terms for it, but it's kind of fuzzy.
That's okay. Me neither.
And then that's page 22. Obviously the splash page, which is also available. Yeah, I didn't do that. The artist did.
Roland cocktail bar in the background there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice work.
Thank you. Yeah, I think if you scroll all the way down, you'll see some of the final pages. That's just our back. That's just our back stock that's available. And this is one of the things I loved about the add-ons on for Kickstarter. So the last Kickstarter we did, we had 56 backstock comics picked up. There you go. This is the final art for some of the pages. Look at that. Let those colors just blow me away.
Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, because the add-ons really allow people to catch up with everything without you having to run another 37 Kickstarters to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There's that.
There's that panel.
That panel you were talking about.
Yeah.
Sorry if it's coming through a little fuzzy. The resolution.
Yeah.
Looks awesome though. Looks good.
It really does. Yeah, I'm blessed to have a very very fantastic. Oh, and there's the blam panel.
There's that blam. That's awesome. Yeah. Look at that.
See how that really incredibly well. Color. Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's really good.
As a writer, I can say these are some really good looking books.
Now you said that this was a flip book, right? So you have these now. Now the thing is, though, it's like these are probably the most opposite stories that you could ever think of putting together. Is there a reason that you chose this story and that other story that just seems so artistically opposed to each other to be in the same book?
We talked about that a little bit, and the real reason is, and you may throw things at me. The real reason is these two were done.
Oh, okay. So it's that simple. It's that simple.
Yeah. They were done. So we're like, and that's kind of been Silverline's model since we started is we're not going to kickstart anything until the books are done. Now we've got several others in production, and we've got some that are really, really, really close.
Right.
But when it came down to it, we're like, okay, these are done. Let's go ahead and add these together and do a flip book. And so yeah.
So the thing is, but I'm also assuming too that it's like, even just looking at the artwork, that it's like that even though it's two very, very different books, they're also not like you wouldn't be concerned about maybe like about a kid reading Bear.
No.
And then just flipping the book over and then reading the other story as well. Okay. So it's not like all, it's not like you have Faust on the other side. I mean, it's just
No, I tell when I started Silverline, I said, it's a different market than when I was doing comics in the 90s. And we look at the success of all the superhero movies, the big budget superhero movies, and we can talk about a lot of reasons for that. But there's the whole PG-13 thing where when you go to the movies, right, at PG-13, you see families, you see 10, 11, 12-year-olds there because the parents have decided, we're going to go and we're going to see this. And so for me personally, I decided that that's what I want Silverline to be. I want Silverline to be accessible to most ages, right? I like to say all ages, but in reality, you're not going to hand a 4-year-old this comic book,
right? Okay,
you know what I mean? But this is pretty much kind of for all age readers, anywhere 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, they're able to read these. Mm-hmm. We're not going to put anything in there that would make you, there's superhero violence, which is I think what keeps some people away. Mm-hmm. And of course there's we were watching TV the other day and there was one called self-harm, and I'm like, what does that even mean?
That's a dark title.
Well, no. It was. They give you the warnings up on the on Netflix. They give you the labels. Here's what's in the gore and violence and self-harm, something like that. And so there's no self-harm in this one, but there is superhero violence, and there's dramatic thematic elements. That kind of thing,
but nothing that you couldn't, it's like you could sit in front of, watching Endgame or something.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. And so that's that for me, that's what I want Silverline to be, because I don't want it to ever be the kind of thing that people go, oh no, that one looks like Faust. Let's skip it.
It's like, what are you trying to sell my kid? Yeah, because I get that sometimes. It's like, what are you trying to sell my kid? And it's like, well, one, you should be looking through this first.
You're absolutely right.
I shouldn't be selling this to your kid. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. So they are two very different stories. Mm-hmm. The connection is right. I'm the writer, so it's me on both sides. I don't know. They're not written the same. I will say that. Obviously, one's a bunch of stuffed animals and toys, and the other one is superheroes. But yeah, it's it's a good question, because it's one of those that we debated a little bit. It's like, well, these two books aren't anything alike. Right. Is that gonna hurt us? Is that gonna help us? And ultimately, we decided that we didn't know.
Oh well.
We don't know the answer. Is it gonna help or hurt? But they were done, so rather than wait, put one of them off a couple months, we're like, let's go ahead and do it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's also the beauty of crowdfunding, because people can see it right here. It's not like you're A/B testing this at a convention because you don't know. Yeah. It's like obviously people are buying it, so obviously that's not an issue. The crowdfunding just allows you to get that information really quickly.
Right.
So
yeah.
And that Silverline double feature, Bear #1 and Silverline team up #1. They're at 1,975 pledged of a 4,000 goal, with 56 backers and 14 days left to go in the project.
Right. And for our radio audience, we keep saying Bear, but it's actually spelled BEAH.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bear.
Yeah.
And on Kickstarter, the way you're going to find that is Silverline double feature.
Yeah.
So that's the way to look for it there. on
Yeah.
the Kickstarter.
And as you know, as a might add, the books are done. I'm not asking you to do it, but for those who are listening, when you watch the video, you will see that I toss up a kind of like the octopus did. I toss up a screenshot of the PDF. All the pages are finished.
Yeah.
And you can see that it is a low resolution, kind of like him. I didn't want you to be able to zoom in and read the whole thing. But you'll be able to see Bear is 24 pages and Silverline Team Up is 22 pages. So when you put them together, you're getting what, 40? Okay, I can't do math. I do words. What, 20?
Yeah, I feel
40, 46 pages, right? 46 pages of content. So
get that PDF for $8, the double
That's
feature
right.
for $18. Retailer bundles for $20.
Yep.
Or more. 25 will get you the double feature signed.
Yep.
55 is the complete list, the completist.
Yep. That's the one for those folks who love to get the get all the covers.
One of everything.
Yep. We didn't have those when we first started doing it, but I got people emailing me, said, "Hey, I want one of everything. Can you build a tier for me?" So I'm like,
yeah.
Yep, sure. I mean,
JD gets that a lot too. Yeah, he gets that a lot. Yeah.
And your early bird special is over. So
Yep. 25 of those. And actually it was a number, so they're all gone.
Cool.
Yeah, they go. They go pretty quick, and we get excited about that to see the early bird specials go.
Yeah. Yep.
So
all good. Again, that Silverline double feature.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
Send me some questions if you got them. Yep, it's fun. We believe that comic books should be fun, and obviously, again, as the writer, I think both of these are. They're fun stories, and my intent as the writer is when you're done reading them, you close that last issue and you go, that was fun. I enjoyed that. When's the next issue coming out? Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. It's the idea.
Yeah. That's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask, because it's like we don't want you to close the book and then forget that you have it.
Right, exactly.
Don't do that.
Yeah. I don't want you to meet me at a convention, a week or 2 weeks or even a month after you read it, and you're going like, I can't remember if I read that or not.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, oh no, don't say that.
We want to acknowledge the chat. Carlos, Nita, how you doing, Phil?
Hey.
What's up?
Phil Leon, Max
What's up,
DeVille
Phil?
is in the chat. What up? What up, Max?
Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
Phil Leon says hey-o.
Hey.
To all the panel.
All the panel. Hello.
Hey, Phil.
So I got a message from Phil. I think it was yesterday. He has just finished. Talked about we finished our project. He has just finished coloring White Devil #1, which is an R.A. Jones book.
Cool.
Nice.
So it's going to be, now that it's finished, it's going to be put on our schedule to get kickstarted real soon.
There you go.
Any idea approximately when that'll be?
Well, probably so it won't be next month. It has a possibility of September. We had kind of one slated for September already that still has bits and pieces to be finished. So it might be September.
Soon.
Maybe. Yeah.
September, October.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Soon.
Literally right around the corner.
Yes. Yes. Very much so.
Silverline only works with crowdfunding. You don't sell to stores.
Yeah, he has a retailer perk in there.
Yeah. And I usually get one retailer because he's my local guy. He almost always backs everything that I do. He hasn't backed yet. But I feel he will. And then sometimes I'll get another one. We've got like, I don't know, 10 stores locally, and I go to all of them, send them all messages every month. They all tell me. We've got one who claims to be independent friendly, and every month they tell me, oh yeah, we're going to back this. They've never backed a one.
Oh, right.
And but you know what? I keep sending them messages.
They're independent friendly as long as it's Marvel or DC.
Right. Exactly. Well, as long as it's Marvel or DC or this one particular company that they like.
Right.
I'm gonna stop there. But yeah. And then occasionally, we're because we live in a digital age. Occasionally, a store where one of the other creators is located will say, "Hey, I want one," or "I want some." And because of print on demand, I always say, "Look, you order 20 copies, we'll put your logo on the cover." That's all it takes is 20 copies, and we'll slap their logo on the cover. We'll only do an original cover for them if they pay for the art,
right? Yeah.
But it does not cost me. It costs me a little bit of time, but it does not cost me anything extra to put a logo on the cover. That's why.
Sure.
Hey, look, you get 20 copies, and we'll put a logo on your cover.
And that's the store logo, right? Like
correct.
Yeah.
Yes,
right,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Coliseum of Comics is the local store here that backs almost everything we do. And so that's why I tell people, hey, if you want to find Silverline Comics locally, go to Coliseum of Comics and talk to them. Like I said, I love those guys because just about every Kickstarter, they back, for 20 or more copies. So, yeah. So to answer your question, they are available at stores. We do have a plan to go to distribution. But my problem is I don't want to. So I've been doing comics long enough that I've heard so many fans complain about late shipping.
Mhm.
And so, for instance, Cat and Mouse is a series that we worked on. It's going to be a 4-issue miniseries. We've done 3 of them, and we're working on finishing number 4. As soon as number 4 is finished, I will then feel comfortable about soliciting number 1, because then I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. If I were to solicit it now, let's say something happens and we don't actually finish number 4 in the next couple of months. So I'm going to ship 1, 2, 3, and then it'll be months before I can ship number 4. And as Daphne said, they'll forget about you.
Yeah, they will. They will.
And so I don't want that to happen. So for me, before I go to any distribution, is I want our series to be finished so that I can do month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. Boom, there's the entire story. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always have a liberty to variant to talk about it. So
want to say thanks to Pops. Pops is putting everybody's links in the chat. Deeply appreciate you, Pops.
Yeah.
Hey, Pops.
Very much. That's one of
Pops.
The fun things about Liberty, and Varian, who had to step out because he actually had to update his system.
Yeah.
He's been building a computer, I think, from little tiny pieces of wire. But
and Coke cans and
Coke cans. Yep. String. He wanted me to tell you, Roland, to hang on after the show today, and he'll pop back in and talk to you about Liberty.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
Because that's something that when Varian started looking at doing distribution, we got into a few talks, and he did a lot of looking around at the market and talked to a lot of retailers about what their problems were with the independent market, why the green section wasn't moving very much outside of the problems we already talked about. But the big thing is that the retailers have gotten to the point where they don't trust the green section.
Yeah,
they don't know if it's coming out, when it's coming out, where it's coming out, or they.
And I fully get it. I understand. I do.
And you already have had to pass. Though I understand those hoops have lightened up a bit because Diamond's desperate to distribute product now. But back when I was doing books, they just kept coming up with new hoops and things that you had to jump through in order to get out there. That's why with Liberty, everything's done. When they solicit for it, when they make it available to the retailer, it's done. It's available to be shipped. They can put it on their shelves. They can, get it done. And I understand you wanting to finish off the story. Yeah. But that'll make all 4 issues available however you want to present them to the retailer through Liberty as a distributor. And it's instantaneous. If they order it like I said, if they order it on a Monday, it comes to them bagged and board in a box, ready to go on their shelf or in their pull list or wherever it needs to go for that retailer to make money off of independent product. And it's just amazing to me that a lot of these retailers are guys like you and I that have been in the business for decades, that know the market, that have seen the market, that have seen what sells and what doesn't sell. Yeah. And it personally, to me, it's surprising that Silverline isn't out there in front of more people and out there with a lot more retailers and getting more notice, because of the quality of books, the things that they've sold in their stores from Malibu and Eternity and all of these books that they should, and some of the titles you're doing again, that they should recognize as being saleable books.
Right. Yeah.
There's no reason why they shouldn't be out there and on their shelves.
Well, I appreciate that. I obviously I wouldn't be doing this if I did. Well, I probably would be doing it, but I believe that as well. I believe that again, I think fun is our key ingredient, but I do believe that retailers would not be disappointed with it. I know the Coliseum of Comics tells me that he's sold out of all the ones that he's gotten from us.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done two signings there in the past couple of months, and both times he goes, I need to make a reorder. And it's like, okay, tell me what you want. And so I think he's going to do it with this current Kickstarter I have, because I told him, I said, look, just add it to the Kickstarter and we're golden. And so I think he's going to do that, but I don't know. But yeah, so then that makes me happy to hear that they do really well at his stores.
Right. Yeah, it's all solid product, and it's all saleable product. And if the last year or so has taught us anything, I know we've talked about collectability and folks going back and looking over their collections, but folks are going back and looking over their collections and rereading a lot of this stuff. Right. That's why there's a big boom right now in the back issue market, is because they're really looking to not just to grab that nostalgia or to get that book that they can resell once they slab it or that they can keep in their collection and never be able to open or look at again. But there's a lot of these books out there that they remember or are re-recognizing for their entertainment value, that they sat down and read and actually enjoyed and want to get back to that feel. There's a lot of entertainment in comics, and it's such a great art form for folks to that's what the long boxes are all about to me. That's why it's not even the bag and the board and the resaleability. It's to be able to stash that box and go back to it in a year or 2 years or 3 years and go, oh man, I forgot I even bought this book. This book is cool, and sit there and take a couple minutes out and lose yourself into that art form.
Yeah, that's the best though. Looking through your collection and forgetting you have something. And oh my God. It's like finding it for the first time. Yeah.
That's why I really love those old Essentials and Showcase Presents collections that even though they were black and white, didn't bother me, because you went back and you were able to re-experience that story and fall back in love with why you loved comics in the first place. It's part of the reason why we do the Sunday Funny Show.
Yeah. So when someone asked me, how often do you rebag your comics? And
I just did that. I took some comics out and the plastics literally disintegrated around them.
It has that kind of sticky feel to it. I'm like, well, my problem is I don't do it enough, and I don't do it enough because I get started and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna rebag them all, and I get through about 3 boxes and I realize I've spent 3 days doing it, and I'm like, that's because I take them out of the bag and go, oh, I remember this one, right?
Exactly.
And I sit there and I start reading. I don't just rebag. I sit there and start reading them all again.
Yeah, I mean, I started picking up those folio boxes for comics. It's like I have a bunch of them over here somewhere. And all it is just a box, and you can slide like 15 comics inside of it and then just close it. And I use that for comics that I access a lot, so I'm not taking out constantly.
Use for reference,
and stuff like. I think I have one right here.
I got me a box under my desk.
Oh yeah, well that too, yeah.
I used to use it to prop my feet up on sometimes when I'm at my desk.
Right? Anybody looking at their video or watching us on YouTube or Facebook realize that Roland's got a lot of reading material behind.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been picking up these star folios. And like this one, speaking of nostalgia, so this one I have all of my Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
There you go.
In them, I picked up the first 20 issues off of eBay. Wow. And instead of putting them in individual bags and boards, when I need them, I just slide them right out, and they're right there. And you go through a time warp
I was just going to say, Roland, what do you mean rebagging? I've got long boxes here. I need to bag the first time through that are like, oh man, I really need to get that book in a bag real quick.
Well, and that's kind of what I ended up doing. The last time I did it, I just went through and took the bags off of them, and I didn't rebag them. And I'm like, you know what? It's going to be another 10 years before I do this, probably. So they're going to be plastic and sticky. Off. Yeah, just dust them off. I don't really. I don't keep them outside. They're not. They're not exposed to the elements.
Right.
So yeah.
Down here in the basement with the dehumidifier running constantly.
Yeah. And then,
they're out of the bag.
A flood wipes everything out anyway.
Out there you're watching television now. I'm seeing.
You want to see a grown man cry? That's exactly what happened to JD.
Yes.
He lost a lot of his collection.
To
a flood.
Yeah.
Really?
Got a good sub pump here, but sitting here watching television, seeing the trailer for Shang-Chi, and I'm like going, I should bag those books one of these days.
Right? Yeah.
I got a whole run because I got lucky and caught a comic shop as they were going out. And I'm like, these books are never going to get reprinted. I'll take these.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that was the same thing with the Dungeons and Dragons that I just showed. That it's like, I was like going, I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And it's like,
never going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. So I might as well just pick up the individual issues again.
Yeah.
Because for the life of me, I don't know what happened to my original copies.
Yeah.
So
now that you've rebought those from eBay, they'll pop right up in one of your long boxes.
Yeah.
It's probably some. Yeah, it's probably somewhere.
You'll move a box and find what you call a book poop.
Yeah, exactly. No, there's a lot.
There they are.
JD has like all these. He has all these piles of books all around the house, of books that he gets, from that he has to read. So he just leaves them all, and I just call them book poops because that's just literally just little stacks like this all over the house.
We are closing up on the 2-hour mark, and before we go, we do not want to neglect at all Marvi, who's been patiently sitting there,
I'm okay.
watching us this whole time. We love having you on, Marv. Sometimes you're going to have to learn to be quiet.
Yeah, I know. You talk too much, man.
But we want to show off the Sin Killer that's available over on Indiegogo.
Right and he's already at 52% of gold.
52% of gold. 28 days left to go.
Woohoo!
Thank you. So tired.
Tell us about the book.
Well, the book is about John Parris, a Vietnam War veteran that falls into an ambush when they go back to the LZ, so they can go back home. So everybody's dead, and when John is about to be executed, he unleashes his power. He brings back his fellow brothers back to life. And there's a problem. Something goes wrong because they were so hurt about not going back home that they turned themselves into monsters when John brought them back. So something happened, and they became these demon lizard-like creatures, and that's the story. That's the story about just a little bit about John, and you have a small introduction of Michael, the Doberman, and Gabriel, the Raven that lives with him in the graveyard.
Sorry.
And
sorry for interrupting. I love the art on this book. I really do.
Thank you.
You're all right, Rich. Yeah.
Thank you. And that's have two small stories. It's a 32-page comic. You have you are introduced to John, Michael, and Gabriel, and the story is like is while you see what John does to bad guys, he will remember what happened during the war. And I'm working now on book number 2. So Revelation is done. I can't wait to print it, and I'm working right now on the second book that will be only about Michael and Gabriel, their origin story. Yeah.
Nice.
That's the Sin Killer over on Indiegogo.
Indiegogo. Yeah.
Right now, 375 or 373 raised, 13 backers so far, 52% of a flexible goal.
Yeah, if you're into like 70s war comics and the mixed with the Crow,
That's a great page.
Yeah, this is that kind of book, and the way it's colored too. If this thing was on newsprint, it would look authentic as anything. Yeah, if it got the dots and everything,
I'll go to unquoted because Mixam in the United States don't have
right.
So
almost in like a duo shade style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice look.
That's ink wash and digital ATM. Yeah.
So Marv, you were a fine artist for how long? Quite a few years, and then.
Yeah, I was 10 years. Yeah, I did some
10
exhibitions. Years? Yeah, some exhibitions, big ones. Some of them big ones, and others not so big, but very. I was getting work. I was selling not too much, but then I just got disappointed about the industry, and I didn't like it, and I just left. I just finished. I quit because it was everybody was kissing ass and stabbing everybody in the back, so it wasn't for me, so I left. And
so you came to comics?
You came to comics.
because I didn't know about indie comics. I knew about indie comics from Jeff Lafferty, and I watched the Berserker not being made, and then that was the motivation for me to start Sim Killer. So that was thanks to Jeff Lafferty. So I started doing this.
Well, not for nothing, no. The fine art, like that whole fine art thing is pretty ridiculous, and it's just ridiculously brutal for no reason whatsoever.
If you're a self-taught artist, they don't give a shit about you. So if you're a master and you do just some
but if you don't have degrees,
some 5-year-old drawings, you're awesome. But if you are a self-taught artist and you do some cool, realistic drawings, you're not.
Yeah, because like that's how we end up with phrases like lowbrow and primitive art. It's like that's just fine art, like really like segregating everybody according to where you stand in the hierarchy. Here we're just indie comics. Here we're just those bastards in indie comics.
Well, and again, anywhere else around the world, other than pretty much the North American continent, people that work in sequential art are artists. They're looked at as artists, and they're right up there with the fine artists and all that because they're taking their art and telling a story. Absolutely. Where over here in the States, we've been so browbeaten since the 50s about comics being kiddie literature and being second level or lower level work, comic books especially. Ever since they started, they've always been looked down upon. That it's taken such a long time here in the States for it to be looked at remotely even as art. You've had a few breakout books here and there that have been recognized, like Mouse and Watchmen and that, but now the folks are starting to realize, especially after a few $100 billion from Marvel Studios, that this stuff is not just entertainment, but there's an art to it, and that the people working in it are actually artists working in a chosen art form that they love. And that doesn't come through any stronger than in independent comics.
That's true.
Especially when you can do crowdfunders like this, where you get your own viewpoint, your own work, your own personal, no editor, no corporate hanging over your head, no IP that you have to except one that you've created yourself, that you can nourish and treat. Every book out here pretty much on these campaigns are a personal touch. These people have literally put their ingenuity and their sweat, their creativity, their genius, their style, their art into these works. That's why it's especially right now, it's such a great time to be in comics when you have all these options that crowdfunding affords, and you're able to do what you want. And sometimes it does incredibly well. Sometimes it does pretty well, you know, and it hits all levels. But a lot of this now is just a point of people needing to see the work. I mean, the work is there. It's great. I'm still always stumbling across books and campaigns, and I'm like, oh man, I have to buy into this,
right?
You know, in order to get it, because it's such a great piece of work, you know. And that's Sin Killer is right there, you know. Sin Killer over on Indiegogo, Sin Killer Revelation. So any of our listening audience, go over there and take a look.
I mean, it's like, you know, we showed a bunch of, you know, we showed 4 campaigns here, and they're all just like so different.
Yes.
In terms of like tone and content and you know, where mainstream media is trying to homogenize all their content into a gray paste that requires minimal digestion so that it appeals to the most people possible at minimal effort. I mean, it's like, if you want to find something that's more personal and more like, you know, representative of individual artists, you have to look into independent comics, because you will not find a more diverse group of artists and content anywhere. You're not going to find that in the mainstream. As much as they like to pretend that they're not. You're not going to see it like this.
Well, if they're not working for a corporate IP, they're trying to do a Netflix pitch.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You know.
All right. And again, I want to thank everybody for stopping in. This has been the Sunday Funnies for July 18th, 2021. We deeply appreciate you being here. We hope you had fun. Take a look at those campaigns if you can. And again, we thank you for stopping by. Rich, tell folks how they can find you.
You could find me on my Facebook page. You could find me on Twitter at Greystoke20. You can find me on my YouTube channel called The Richness, where I have daily live shows of drawing exhibitions, and now starting with interviews of other artists and creators. And you can always find me behind my drafting table, where I'm always working.
There you go. The Richness. It's a good title. Roland, tell folks how they can find you.
Yep, you can find me on all the socials. Look for Roland Mann. I think I'm Man Roland on Twitter. Or you can generally find me hanging out wherever you can find Silverline. And Silverline we're on all the socials as well. You can find our website at www.silverlinecomics.com. And go check out the Kickstarter. What's up, Pops?
Pops says, hey, Roland, long time, man.
Yeah, long time, man.
Marv, tell folks how they can find you.
Yeah, I'm not going to spell my last name because a little bit complicated.
Don't try it. Don't try it. I've tried it.
No, because I tried to put my only Marv on social media. They won't let me. I have to put my real last name. So the best way to find me is only to hashtag the Sin Killer comic book, and you'll find me on social media. So that's easiest way to find me. So thank you so much for having me one more time, and check out the Sin Killer on Indiegogo. 28 days left, 52% already done. Yeah. So thank you.
So you're over that hump.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
With plenty of time to spare. So,
yes.
Yeah. I hope to start sleeping better this week, because I got to start working. So
yeah, exactly.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Welcome to comics.
Right.
It's easy.
Yeah. There you go. Just snap your fingers and there it is. Yeah. Just create a bubble. Yeah.
Get me into Marvel. I want to get to Marvel.
Exactly. Exactly.
Daphne, tell folks how they can find you.
Well, you can head on over to my main portfolio site, eagleworks.com, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites. But I mostly post to Facebook if you're into seeing sketches and current work in progress, update, and other types of updates. And I'm also on YouTube for weekly art live streams, mostly on Wednesdays. I'm trying to get back into the habit of that. You can also read the first 5 issues of Eager Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, for free in its original black and white format. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link to talltalesonline.com and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. And don't forget to sign up for your monthly newsletter, where not only will you get free comic PDFs just for signing up, $40 worth of comic PDFs, by the way, but you also get regular updates about our current and upcoming crowdfunding campaigns, because we still have some left to go before the end of the year. And just to reiterate, if you want to see Eagle Raven Air the First Unicorn in your local comic book shop, you can have your shop owner contact Liberty Distribution, and they will be able to order Eagle Raven from Liberty for their shop as well. So, you can do that too. Thank you.
Mary Machine Gun says Rich looks sleepy.
Well, that's why he keeps saying he needs to get to sleep. Well, everyone needs to get to sleep.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Yeah.
Bob says Roland is surrounded by boxes.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
Boxes,
also, yeah, go ahead, Roland. Sorry.
I just say boxes full of gold is what this is.
There you are. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pops also says back to Sin Killer. This one needs to be in print. It really does. Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Oh, and another
We're all
important
gonna
thing
back
about
that.
the Sin Killer too, even though he is in Portugal, the shipping is set up so that if you order from the United States, you will get United States shipping. He has it set up so that the book will be printed in the United States, so that you will just pay standard United States shipping.
That's through Critical
Yeah.
Blast too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's just in case you're hesitant to back.
So
because
yeah,
it's in
don't be
Portugal.
afraid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we
thank
all
you.
know that shipping's become a real nightmare overseas.
Yeah.
So in order for us to ship anywhere outside of the States, it's a lot of
Yeah.
money. So
Mhm.
people are getting surprised with extra postage when they
Yeah.
go to pick up their packages now
Right.
from like UPS. It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that stuff really needs to stop.
Mhm.
And again, everybody, I really appreciate you listening in. I'm not sure of our numbers because Varian is still offline
Fighting
on our
with
radio
technology.
numbers. So he ought to be back in here
Right.
shortly. He's just having to re-update and re-update and all of that. But we deeply appreciate you listening. I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find me on Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. You can find me on Twitter under Randy Zim, though I'm not over there very often. Really, though, you should check out Aero Comics 4.0 on any of the main social platforms. We do have a link tree to help you get to those easier. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all run by the great raging people, Nita and Meredith. Watch over those. And there's a lot of announcements coming up soon. Look for our books coming out in August. I can't wait. It's just a few weeks away at most. I just can't wait to see it. We're going to be doing Luke Stone's Hybrids. Will be coming out starting with the #1 under the Aero Comics banner, available for the retailers. Luke just currently, I believe he crowdfunded issue 8. If I'm not mistaken, I know he's on like issue 10 or 11 right now, working on this book. He's going through and remastering everything, because when you get a chance to look at your work again, you always go through and you do those little fine tunes. And these are remastered versions of Hybrids. The artwork is better. The storytelling is incredible. The story is really good. So go through and look for that. We're also doing Only Death Can Save Us from Russ Leach. That'll be starting up. That'll be a bi-monthly book starting in August, available to the retailers. And if you haven't seen that book is incredibly polished, professional piece of work. Just excellent. And Russ has been filling out that book with other short stories and filling in the universe that Death runs in. Death is the main character here. Again, just a phenomenal property. Very happy to be able to present that to the retailers. We're also doing an Indie Volt Revolt book on a regular basis. That's 32 pages of black and white short stories available to the retailer on a regular basis. We almost like to look at it as an independent comics version of Heavy Metal.
Cool.
And upcoming issues will have specific themes. The first couple of them will be a very eclectic mix. Some of the material was in the Indie Volt Revolt book, but not all of it. And there'll be a lot of new material as well. In fact, this cover you see here, I used on the Revolt book. This cover was by Chris Scalf, and he went through and fine-tuned that cover and added a lot more detail for the actual direct market version of this book. And also that month, also in August, will be HeroBot Zero, which is a character that I've had for quite a few years. It's a 3-foot tall giant robot who fights big monsters. And he has a bad attitude and insists on only fighting monsters while he's on the clock. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's a great, lighthearted, just old style battle book, like you would see with Johnny Sacco and that kind of stuff. Only he's got a very irritated attitude. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then in September, we're going to be doing hybrids again, and on the next issue of Revolt, as well as we'll be doing Paragon, which is a superhero story that I've wanted to get out for a long time, that I'm really looking forward to folks reading, as well as Calico of Shard, which is a great high fantasy book involving a talking cat, a female centaur warrior, a barbarian fairy, an elf who likes to trade for things, an old wizened wizard, and all of the people that they meet on the world as they try to literally put the world back together again. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
Looking forward to those. And I'm coloring Calico right now, just having a blast. So looking forward to that. All of that's going to be available exclusively through Liberty Entertainment Distributors. If you haven't checked out www.ledg.us, please do. It's a very different kind of distributor. I got out of the direct market back in the early 2000s because I got tired of having to jump through hoops at Diamond and wanted to find a different way. I spent 10 years doing my own independent newspaper here locally, where I moved more copies and had a larger readership, a much larger readership than I had having to deal with Diamond going all the way around the world. I had a larger readership within a 50-mile radius of my house than I had all of the years I was dealing with Diamond. It's moving through 10,000 copies of a newspaper, getting back 100 to 200 copies of the paper, and then giving those away at shows later on. I did that for 100 issues. It was a lot of fun. But now I came back because Varian brought me back in through YouTube and talking about crowdfunding and the direct market, and then Liberty Distribution. And I'm like, dude, if you're going to do that, we need to do something that you can really offer to the retailers and try to get this jump started. So that's what Arrow Comics is all about. That's what Liberty is all about. And Liberty's reach so far has been very encouraging. They've got over 80 stores, 80 retail shops signed up. And you'll see in the upcoming months that Liberty is going to have a lot larger reach, and is really going to end up being a major player on the market. I'm very excited and happy to be working with them. Just like I'm excited and happy to be working here with the Indie Volt. It's not really working, though. I'm not getting paid for this. To be involved with the Indie Volt radio network. So we do Sunday Funnies here every 9 a.m. on every Sunday. That's Eastern Standard Time. Later on today, I believe at 1 p.m., Varian has scheduled another episode of, and here I am scrolling for the card on it. There we are, of Indie Volt special issues. I'm not quite sure what he plans on talking about this week, but we have talked about quite a few topics over the last couple days. And he was just telling me a story this morning that was amazing, that we're hoping maybe we can turn into another special issue. And again, if you haven't seen our special issues from a couple of weeks back talking about the beginning, middle, and end of Terraform Comics, it's a long episode. It was like 3 hours and 48 minutes long, but it's very important for everybody to go over there and watch that, because there is a lot of lessons to be learned from the independent market and just experience in general, some of which you'll associate with, some of which you might even know, a lot of which, oh yeah.
Okay, I gotta go listen to it then.
And
I missed that one.
Yeah, we did. We treated it as a very upfront, factual, and tried to stay as in chronological order as we possibly could about the rise and fall of Terraform, all of the possible the traps and the glitches that the company ran into. It's a great story, and there's a lot of great lessons to be learned there. And it's really turned into one of Indie Volt's biggest viewed programs. Yeah. And for me, it's one of the biggest programs I think we've ever done. So other than that, on Tuesday night at 9 p.m., Indie Volt has a live wire program that Varian and myself do. And then Wednesday night at 9 p.m., Lola, the Indie Princess, and Daphne and Nita and Meredith and whoever else they can grab do a show called Geekgasm, where they look at geekdom, usually from a more feminine perspective. Sometimes it gets a little rawer than the other shows. Then
the ladies get raunchy.
The ladies get raunchy sometimes, yeah. And then Thursday morning, Daphne and Varian join me again for the Breakfast Buzz. That's at 9 a.m. Thursday morning. And the reason we have shows on at 9 a.m. is to catch great people here like Marv or Rich that are on different time schedules at different parts of the country. Yeah. You never know who's going to show up. We've had people on who do comics from all over the world, and that's part of the fun of doing this kind of program. We've had people from South Africa, from Australia. Marv is from Portugal, the Netherlands, Norway, England, quite a few. It's just a great time right now to be doing comics, a phenomenal time to be doing independent comics. So we invite you to listen to the Indie Volt Radio Network whenever you can. We appreciate everybody listening now over on YouTube and our Facebook channels. If you are on YouTube, please, even if you're not on YouTube and you can get to YouTube, please like and subscribe over there. Our viewing hours over there are way up to acceptable levels. We just need to get a few more subscribers over there to pop us into monetization. So then we really have to worry about what we say online, and we can take on those super chats and help Varian afford that bandwidth that he was forced to pay last Tuesday. We actually broke the 100,000 listenership for his broadband on the internet radio. That's and cool. We're very proud of that number. Set a new bar, and now it gives him more stuff he has to pay for. So we want to get up there and be monetized over on YouTube, just so we can help him cover his expenses. So we appreciate all of you listening deeply. We never did run the opening, so we'll run it on our way out the door. Thanks, Rich. Thanks a lot, Roland, for being on. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Marvi. Thank you. And again, thanks, Daphne, for popping in, and Varian too, for coming on for the short time that he was on this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thanks again for listening. And we will see you all soon. Next Sunday morning here on the Sunday Funnies, we'll have another group of people that will talk comics as much as we possibly can, or wherever else the conversation leads. And we'll talk to you then. So in the meantime, stay safe. Daphne, say it.
Buy independent comics, especially ours.
That's right. That's a t-shirt. Got to talk to Varian about that.
And as Varian loves to say, please, 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 make it a point to leave this industry in better shape than what you found it. So everybody, take care. We'll see you soon. Stay safe.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Accomplished. Do you draw the Flintstones naked?